Hello everyone, welcome to first term of 2024. I'm just getting my screens right here. I'm going to give everyone some time to jump into the live stream. I'd love to know where you are joining us from. Get my notes. Okay, so I'm just going to have a double check here that we are live. I'm going to give everyone some time to jump in. While we're waiting, so today we are doing training on the fundamentals of SEO. And so often what I see in schools especially is that SEO is something that we kind of ad hoc look at every few months, and we do a little bit of work, we get frustrated about our rankings, we action for 2 days and then we drop it for another few months and we come back. And so I thought I'd start the year and try to help schools have a good framework for the SEO. So welcome to Carmel School, to the live stream. If you could tell me where you're from, just say hello in the chat. So make sure that you're logged in and registered to say hello on the chat. We love to the last session we had last year, I thought there was really good engagement because people were in on the chat asking questions, and I try to keep an eye on them. So jump in on the chat. Let me know if you can hear me okay, that my mic's all connected up and it's clear for you. And yeah, say the school that you're from in the chat. And also, I wouldn't mind if you subscribed. So, hi, Matthew from Freshwater Christian College. Okay, so why did I start the year? We have quite a big training schedule this year that we are going to be doing for schools, but I really wanted to start with SEO. So why did I want to start with SEO, which seems to be a little random corner in our marketing roles? Well, first of all, as a paid media agency, as a digital marketing agency, we see way too many schools with little to no SEO set up. And these are schools that are spending thousands of dollars each month on their paid traffic. And they kind of have this hole in the bucket. That's their organic traffic and the SEO strategy. And I think beyond just hiring an agency to do 10 hours of work each month on your SEO, there's actually some really practical things you can do as a marketing manager to make sure that there are no holes in your net. So I wanted to give you some practical tools to, one, understand where you are at with your SEO, and then to implement as a non-SEO professional. A lot of schools, when we approach them with their, hey, we've seen that your SEO has a hole in the bucket, a lot of them assume that just because they're local and they're known, that they don't have to spend any time on the SEO. And that couldn't be further from the truth. A lot of schools are losing traffic and potential, and they assume just because they're known that they are going to be on top of mind when a parent is making a decision, and it gives you no opportunity to actually address some of the reasons why people may not come to you if they're not actually looking at your website, visiting you. I wanted to show you where you can go to do an honest audit of your SEO so that you can understand where you're at and you can make an assessment for yourself. And then we'll also give you quick tools, practical tools to implement. Okay, so without a further ado, is there anyone else to welcome in the chat? If you're new to the live stream, just add your name in the chat, say hello. This is going to be an interactive session. I want you to ask questions as we go through our content, and it just makes it so much easier for me to make it relevant and applicable for you. And so yeah, ask the questions in the chat and welcome. Yeah, introduce yourself in the chat as well. Okay, so the first thing I want you to be able to do when you're looking at your SEO is to do an audit of your current standing. So where are you currently at in your SEO? And so I'm going to give you a few bullet points just to go through and things to check for yourself. The first thing that you want to check, and it's just an indicator, it's not, the be all and end all of your SEO, but what is your domain authority score? And so this is a score out of 100 that tells you what your domain authority is in terms of its ability to drive traffic. So it's 1 to 100, and the higher the score, the better. And so typically we see schools have a score around 50. So if it's anywhere around 50, that's great. If it's like 20 or 10, then your site probably is not driving any cold traffic. And so there are things that you can do to improve your score. It's kind of like a credibility score, and if your SEO is all up to scratch, you have great content, keywords, usability, everything's working great, but your domain authority is lower than your competitors, then Google's going to go for your competitors and list your competitor in front of you. So that's a major factor to consider, what your domain authority is. We often see that in schools that have, coming to us and saying, "Oh, we've done this and we've done that." It's just making absolutely no difference, and they probably don't have a great domain authority score. And you can check that there are free tools like the Moz and Ahrefs. They both have a free domain authority checker. Had to go through the hassle of registering with them, but it'll be a great exercise to do. So, welcome to St. Leo's Catholic School. Great. Okay, I just covered your name there. I can't see your name from St. Leo's Catholic College. Okay, so after you know your domain authority, I want you to understand which pages are driving traffic. So we have, the pages that are the most popular, like a homepage, and obviously the homepage will also be driving traffic. But I want you to understand what kind of content is driving traffic on your website. So the way that you check this is to go into your Google Analytics 4, and then you go to reports, engagement, and then landing pages. And so anywhere in this training where I refer to, go, yeah, to do this, I'm going to make notes in the description after this video. I'll paste them in the description, and you can just refer back to this video and how to get to those places. So the landing pages report in GA4 is a list of the pages that are driving traffic. So that is the first page that people are landing on when they visit your website. And so typically for schools would be their homepage, their fees page, about us page, and then all the broader parent related content like like calendars and buses and things like that. And so you'll very quickly get a feel for, is any of your blog content driving traffic? And is any of the other pages visiting indicating to you that they are prospective families, or is it just your current families that are looking around your website? And so typically for schools, we'll see they are very strong with their content for current parents, and that's what the main source of traffic is to their site, but very little of that content would be applicable to non-current parents and prospective families. And then the next thing I want you to get an understanding of is your keywords. So what keywords are currently driving traffic? And so you will get this information by visiting Google Search Console and connecting that up with your website. Hopefully it's already connected already and you can see a historic view. Otherwise, you need to start today and set your Google Search Console up. It's a free tool. And so once you're in Google Search Console, you can go to Performance, and then you can see a list there of all the keywords that people are using to find your website. So the main thing I want you to look at, you can actually sort them by clicks or impressions. If you sort them by impressions, you may have keywords where people are searching 1,000 times a month, but you're only getting 1 or 2 clicks. And those would be keywords that are high opportunity keywords that you should maybe focus on. But you'll also get a feel, again, if the keywords have high intent behind them, or if your website happens to rank for keywords like, school term dates or swing carnival dates or, uniform shop, things that, are just general search terms that aren't driving prospective families to visit your college. And you can actually, this would be the main go-to place when building out your initial keyword strategy. Before looking at competitors and what they're doing, have a look at what Google is picking up as opportunities for you and focus on the keywords with the highest impressions and the lowest clicks that show intent. Things like private school for your city, boys' school, boarding school, non-denominational school, Christian school. Yeah, all of those keywords that are indicating to you that people are actually looking for a school to enroll at and they're doing that research. And then the next thing you want to do is some competitor research. So it's important that when we look through all of our SEO that we contextualize it locally if we're a local school. So have a look through your competitors' websites, have a look on Google Maps and use incognito mode. So often we'll have a client come to us and say, oh no, we rank #1 for this keyword. But using incognito mode or search marketing tools will give you like a non-biased view of where you're actually standing. If you're on your website every single day and then you search for your school's name or private schools in the area, Google's going to show you your results first. But that's not necessarily what's happening for people that aren't connected to your school already. Let me know if you have any questions. The two tools to get there, well, one would be to use the Moz or the Ahrefs tools to get your domain authority. The next would be definitely have your GA4 set up. The previous version of Google Analytics is deprecated now, and some schools may have lost data there. And then get your Search Console, your Google Search Console set up so you can understand the traffic, what's happening with driving traffic. Okay, so now that you've done that and you've got a bit of an audit on what your school's doing, the next thing for us to do is to build an SEO routine. And this is preferably, I'd say, this is an hour set aside each week to build your SEO and work on your strategy. And so SEO work is very methodical, it's continuous, it's consistent, and it doesn't work if you're going to panic for 2 days of the year and then leave it alone and then come back to it. So it's best done methodically, an hour a week if possible. The first thing that we need, and when I grew in my SEO journey of optimizing different websites, really, this probably does take a little bit of skill and understanding, but it's being really clear on your SEO strategy. So I'm just going to give you the summary of what we've learned as a team for our SEO. So for our SEO, we should have one main keyword for your main landing pages, be it your homepage, your landing page, pages that are relevant to specific year levels. Those are called your top level main traffic driving pages. And you should have one. So a lot of people try to prioritize between different keywords and they try to keyword stuff and they're like, oh, it could be this keyword, but it could be that. And the skill is choosing one high value traffic driving keyword that's going to be the focus for that page. And then after you're clear on that, what your main page keywords are, you have to understand which pages are going to be your support content. And so you may have a page that is like a main keyword, but then you'll have related keywords that are saying the same thing or pointing to that keyword. And those are going to be the keywords for your secondary pages that are going to link back to your main pages. So just being clear on that is going to prevent you from going in, optimizing a page, and then coming back 3 months later thinking, no, I want to change the keyword for that page to this now, and then you break the links. And so you just really need to be clear, maybe print out your navigation, your sitemap, and highlight what do you think the keywords should be for each page. And so SEO, this is where I used to get frustrated because you're never going to reach perfection. Yeah, it's not going to be this perfectly amazing matched puzzle that all syncs perfectly, but a good consistent approach is better than perfection. So after you have, so your main pages are going to be the main traffic drivers and your support pages are going to have support keywords and point to your main traffic pages. And so what I see with school websites, 5 to 10 years back, is that there was so content heavy and there was new content going every second day onto the website that was unmanaged and not maintained. So a better way to manage your website is to have few pages that are regularly updated. That is like a massive lesson for schools marketers. If there's one thing that I want you to take away, is to have regularly updated content. There's nothing wrong with updating content. You don't have to create a new page to say something new. And so think less, content should work harder, should always have the same goal of focusing and driving traffic for that keyword. And that approach will then help you to have clarity in your strategy and will reduce complexity and the maze of endless work that will happen if you have this long list of 500 pages that you think you're going to keep updated. So let me know if you have any questions on that. So you can see, so what also happens is that if schools have too many pages, what they'll probably see is that they'll have 5 pages that rank on page 3, but none that rank on page 1. So that means you just have to lift the quality of your pages, you can cut out and delete pages that aren't driving traffic. It's not going to hurt your rankings. Sometimes you just have to do a little bit of a clean on your content. It's actually more damaging to have old content that's not doing anything than it is just to cut it out. And remember to do your redirects. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is keep tracking our main keywords just to get an idea. So track your position. You can use Google Search Console as a free tool. I'm going to refrain from suggesting tools to use. We've used a variety of tools, and yes, they make life easier. What we found recently, like the big tools like SEMrush or the other ones, is that their numbers aren't actually based on reality. So they'll say, this is an amazing keyword to rank for. You put a lot of effort into trying to rank for the keyword, and then you find the reality of it is that actually there's not that much traffic, and the next month it kind of totally drops off. And so that's my frustration with using tools. Today, I'm just giving you the good, solid, free tools of Google Analytics, Google Search Console. Even if you have a spreadsheet that works well for you, that is perfectly fine to start with. If you have a spreadsheet of 10 keywords, and you start ranking for those 10 keywords over a year, that's going to make a massive difference to your traffic, rather than going in and dumping 500 keywords into a tool that can track everything, including the sun, moon, and the stars, and it's not actually resulting in a great strategy for you or anything that's changing. And then also keep a lookout on, are there new opportunities that are coming up? So the world of search is continuously changing. And so the idea is that as you start to master your first 10 keywords, you'll then start to pick up, this is another keyword that we can rank for, and start to build out your map of influence. So the next thing I want you to have a look at in your work is to just keep track of your competitors. So what new pages are your competitors producing? Are they writing new content? Are they seeing something that maybe you've missed? What's the main traffic drivers for their content? And yeah, just do a little bit of, even in incognito mode, just researching what they are coming up for. And also, don't try to think locally, especially if you are a school that's just local. Don't think, oh my goodness, this school is ranking above us and they're in the US, or this guide is, a private school guide, or one of the other guides are ranking up above us. Try to think local. Which of your local competitors are ranking above you? Okay, so what I like to do once I have an understanding of this, the thing that's going to put all these pieces together is my tracking table. So I'll put together a Word document, and on that Word document, I'll have the keyword that I'm trying to go for. So say private schools Brisbane. I'll do an incognito search for that keyword, private schools Brisbane, and I'll list the top 3 competitors. And once you've listed those top 3 competitors, what I want you to do is to list the title of the article that's ranking. It may be a blog post or maybe a landing page or their homepage. I want you to list the number of key times they mention the keyword on their page. So paste it into a Word document, do a search for the keyword, and just list out how many times they're listing the keyword or part of the keyword, like a main phrase of the keyword. I want you to list down the length, how many words that article is, and how many backlinks they have. And then I want you to just use that as a template for your content. So you're going to create a landing page that's a better experience. So more keywords, more content, more user-friendly. Think about additional ways that you can add value to a user that visits your page over your competitor's page. And that's just a great way to chip away at the keywords, and keep track of what the competitors are doing, and to stay consistent in how you add content to your website. Okay, so your website health. Another thing to keep track of is, and this also is for the scenario where people are adding content, they're working hard, but it's not actually affecting their rankings. And often it can be because there's a technical issue behind the scenes that you're not totally aware of. The amazing thing is Google Search Console keeps track of this for you. And the reason why I always mention the Google tools is because Google accounts for like 95, if not 97% of all the traffic. So really your focus should be on optimizing for Google first. So Google Search Console, there's a tab in there called Core Web Vitals. So Core Web Vitals tracks the user experience that people are having once they land on your website. And if anything breaks, the handy thing is that if your email is in there, it will email you and tell you exactly what the issue is and how to fix it. And so it will alert you to things like the page loading is slow, or there's one element on the page that's taking too long to load. The mobile friendliness, if there's a broken link on your website, or if there's like a misplaced element or there's something wrong with the coding. All of this is something that Google will alert you to and tell you exactly how to fix it. The next thing we'll need to be doing in our work is a content refresh. So good content will rank for 1 to 2 years without any updates. Depending, I mean, just generally speaking, unless you have like super active competitors that are, generally speaking, if you have a page that ranks for private schools, Brisbane, or wherever your location is, it should stay there for 1 to 2 years without much major work. But what do you do when it starts losing and you're looking at your keywords and you see it's no longer number 1, it's number 2 or 3? What is your strategy there? So don't assume you need to build more content. I think a lot of people rush to, oh, we're losing traffic, let's build new content. So understand that if your current content can be updated, Google is a massive fan of you updating and refreshing good performing pages. So update it with new current information. Think of additional sections you can add to that page. And then once you've updated that content, resubmit it to your Search Console by doing a URL inspection to say, yes, we've updated it. Can you please recrawl, Google, can you please recrawl this page? And then it will update to the new content and increase or keep your rankings. So pages that have never been successful in driving traffic, that's the flip side of keep refreshing your content. Look in the landing pages report in GA4, which pages are just generating absolutely no new traffic. The only way people are finding them is, through your website navigation, maybe. For those pages, I would either rework it, I would merge it with other content. And sometimes you can start to see groups like opportunities to group your content with other content, so that together it forms a stronger appeal for Google. And then you also have to keep an eye on your website technical health. So making sure that the pages are mobile friendly, making sure that the images are up to date and relevant and they have meta tags and descriptions. all of that needs to be updated on a continuous basis. So if you don't, I would definitely write like a one-page guide. Especially schools tend to have a lot of admin staff or people that are not trained in marketing updating their website, and there they are loading massive images into your website or having non-SEO friendly content uploaded. I would always have a marketing check on your content. SEO should always be a priority, and write a one-page guide and train your staff in one of your staff PD days on how to make content SEO friendly. And it's everyone's job. If they have a login to your website and if they are updating content, they can't just say, oh, well, SEO is someone else's job. It needs to be done then and there when uploading your content. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions while I'll have a sip of water. And we're going to look in detail at your Google My Business profile next. And let me know in the chat if you are doing this content yourself, content updating yourself, or if you're working in SEO yourself, or if you just outsource it. I'll just give you 2 seconds to see if there's any questions from that section. And I might actually try and share my screen. Okay. So my screen should be up there now. I'm just going to check the chat if anyone had any questions. No questions. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so the number one thing, the big opportunity that I see schools are missing out on is their Google My Business profile. It actually makes a huge, for local search marketing, it's the number one thing to be updating for your appearance on Google. And Google is 95% of traffic. So it's pretty important. Often, unfortunately, we have big, amazing, beautiful schools with massive budgets, and the first thing that pops up when you search for them is a negative review. And we always help our clients to get those fixed, no matter what action we need to take to help them to do that, because you lose so much traffic potential just from that alone, and there's no point in moving on from that if the first thing they see is a bad review. There's no recovery. No amount of marketing budget is going to help you fix that. So yes, be like a hound and watch your reviews and build them. Okay. So the first thing I want to mention here is there is a tool, a plugin on Chrome called GMB Everywhere. If you use Google Chrome, and it's an extension that you can add that's trusted. Sorry, my phone's ringing. I'm just going to silence that call. Hope my team will get it. It's a free plugin, and what it does is it gives you a view of your competitors without that's not normally visible on Google Maps. Okay, so we're going to just go through optimizing your Google My Business profile. So the first thing that you need to do when setting up your Google My Business profile is to choose a category. And so often people will just choose one category and kind of move on through the questionnaire when they are doing their setup. Just skip that. And so as you can see, GMB comes up with a little bit of behind the scenes information on each person's listing. And so we're going to go through that. So very importantly, you need to choose more than one category. You need to choose all of the relevant categories for your school or college. And so I'm going to go through a list of categories. I'm going to go through a list of categories, and you need to choose all of the relevant ones. Sorry, phone ringing does my head in. Okay, so I'm going to list all the categories. So it's elementary school, and choose all of the applicable ones. It's school, it's Catholic school, it's private college, middle school, boarding school, co-ed school, high school, preschool, primary school, private educational institution, boarding house, girls' high school, boys' high school, or grammar school. So choose all of the ones that are applicable. So you should be able to get 5 or 6 that are all applicable to you. And as you can see, so I just searched here private school Brisbane, and you can see all the different categories. And you can see that most schools only, like this one's just chosen elementary school or Catholic school. But I would have a list of like this college here has done some work on their listing, and they've listed all the applicable categories. And then you'll also see that some of the schools actually have completely the wrong setup. I saw one earlier that was not even listed as a school. So their listing would be doing nothing. Middle school, elementary school. Okay, so that's the first thing to go through the list, and I'll put that list in the chat below after this recording, and that way you can just refer back and make sure that you have all the categories selected. The next thing to do is to go into your subcategories, and so for each of those categories, Google will automatically choose subcategories, and so just choose the ones that are relevant for your school. The next thing to make sure that you are doing is to make sure that you are you have a listing for each of your individual locations. So make sure that, like, if you have a kindy, well, if it's like a separate kindy or daycare, to have that as a separate listing, and if you have separate campuses, to have those as a separate listing on their own. And that way you make most of the real estate. So unfortunately, Google Maps is very biased towards the location of the people where they're searching. So it will always show the closest listings, no matter if it's a really good listing or not. And even if you search for private schools Brisbane, it will more tend towards the center of Brisbane first before reaching out. The reason why my listings in that one were more based towards where I am in my suburb as well. So just be aware of that. And the way you get over that is to have a really optimized listing so that yours is the first or next, yours is next on the list to display. And then the next thing to do is to look at your reviews, as I mentioned before. So focus on getting new reviews. So Google My Business has a link that you can share to people, and I would do this every year as an email out. I'd also ask happy parents as they say something, just train your teaching staff to say, would you mind to give us a Google review? It really helps us out. I'd also give a postcard out to families, maybe send out a postcard once a year with a QR code for them to give you a review. It's a little bit of work. It does take some work, but it's really worth it. Just building a culture of giving positive reviews. In terms of dealing with fake or spam reviews or reviews by students that think they're being funny, I would always deal with them one-on-one with the student, and I would actually work with your deputy principal or your teaching staff to make that a disciplinary thing, that they need to represent the college well, and that giving a fake review with a bad score is a disciplinary issue and needs to be dealt with and removed. And you can also report those to Google just to say, listen, we have students that are being funny. Can you please remove them? If you do get a genuinely bad review, it raises a lot of red flags that the parent feels like they need to go to Google Maps to do damage, because that's their intent. They've probably felt unheard and they're going to Google Maps to try and damage your brand, and they're feeling very unhappy. Those require your principal to get involved, or your deputy principal, head of school, to get involved and have a one-on-one meeting with the parent to see if they can resolve those issues, and then, if appropriate, ask if they can remove. But otherwise, just always build positive reviews and keep on building positive reviews over the few negative ones that you may get. Make sure that your listing title actually has your keyword mentioned in it, if possible. So if it's like private school keyword, include the words private school in your listing title. That's perfectly fine if your landing page also has those keywords and you're a private school and it's all directly related to what you do. You're not just keyword stuffing. Google My Business has a questions and answers section. I would encourage you can actually write those questions and answers and open up questions and answers for the public. It's a great tool because it's going to become a list of the frequently asked questions and the content that people want to see very quickly, such as school fees and, is it co-educational or single sex or, where are your locations, that sort of thing. Opening up the questions really adds a lot to your listing. And then also making sure that from the business section, the little blurb that you have to talk about your school is mentioning your keywords and aligns with your landing page experience. Okay, so that's your Google My Business listing. Be sure to install the GMB Everywhere plugin and have a look at what the categories are and what your competitors are doing with their listing. There's a whole bunch of information available from that plugin for you to optimize. Great. The last thing I want to cover, it seems like every school on the planet is rebuilding their website at the moment. And what we do see a lot of is schools losing their rankings. Once they've launched this beautiful new site, there's a trend towards minimalistic, image-centered sites. I mean, we love those and recommend those and build those ourselves, but there's a way to do it that's going to enhance your SEO. So just completely scrapping your content and going all visual is not going to do well for you, but there's a happy middle line. So if you're a school that's found yourself with a beautiful new website, but drastically reduced traffic and visibility on your search results, that's what you need to do. So the first thing you need to do is on your old, and hopefully I get to you before you launch your new website. So I'm going to speak from that perspective. If you're about to launch a new website in the next year or two, keep your meta titles. Well, actually, first go to your GA4 landing pages report and understand which landing pages are the ones that are driving the most traffic and list those out. Okay, and so what you want to do with those landing pages first is that you want to keep the meta titles and descriptions the same. So migrate those across to your new website and keep the meta and titles and descriptions the same for those pages. The next thing you want to do is to keep the URL slug the same. So often everyone wants to redo their navigation. Unless your navigation is seriously flawed and you have to rework it, try to, especially for the main layers of content, keep it the same. If your navigation does need to be reworked and it's going to be changed, what you need to do is then map out your old content and where the home is going to be for the new location of that content. And then you'll have to do 301 redirects for that content. And so redirect to the content. So don't just kind of like delete all the URL slugs and then think that Google will find its own way to the new place where it is. So that often web design companies will conveniently not say anything about your navigation or keeping the integrity of your SEO strategy, and they kind of just scratch everything and start over. And that's the worst possible thing you can do because you're going to literally start back at step one for your SEO. And even poorly ranked sites, it's better to start there than back at ground zero with no history. Make sure that all your images are optimized. So there's a big focus on images and videos, which is what our new websites look like too. But make sure that the meta title and descriptions are clearly updated to describe the pictures that you're uploading and then all the new assets that you're using. Make sure that the image size is under 500 kilobytes. There are tools that you can install on WordPress if it's a WordPress site, or other platforms where you can install plugin where it limits the upload size. So I really recommend installing those. And if you're using like a main banner image or like a profile image for your homepage, keep it under like a megabyte. And then there's a new format for images which Google loves, and it's called WebP format. And try to have all your images uploaded in WebP format. That has drastically increased load speed for all of our clients' websites. And then the next thing to do is to rework all your internal linking. So just because you have a new website, people tend to forget that they need to actually focus on the internal links again and start getting that network of internal links working through their new website. So don't forget that. Great. So that's it for today. That's all of our content for SEO. Our next webinar will be in a month's time on the 3rd Tuesday, and it'll be mastering your content publishing across your teams. And so we'll have a detailed, and I actually might bring Alyssa, our account manager, in to show you a great system for managing your content across multiple team members. So I hope that you can join us for that. I will link a few of the tools to use and the categories and handy things to refer to in the comments section of this live, and I hope that it helps you in your marketing. Thank you, everyone.